Germany is building bunkers. France is training its hospitals. Across Europe, governments are preparing for hard days ahead. They speak openly about food shortages, cyber attacks, and even missile strikes. Their message is clear: be ready. But across the Atlantic, America acts calm. Washington leaders rarely talk about war preparedness for civilians. To many Americans, it feels like distant news, something that belongs over there. Yet history reminds us that distance is not safety. Pearl Harbor was far away until it wasn't. September 11th was unimaginable until it happened. The question arises, why are European leaders preparing their citizens while U.S. leaders remain quiet? Is it confidence, denial, or a gamble on geography? This contrast sets the stage for our journey. 20 chapters that explore Europe's readiness, America's gaps, and what it means for ordinary families. Because preparedness is no longer theory. It is policy, survival, and responsibility. Germany has committed 10 billion euros to civil defense by 2029. This is not about tanks or fighter jets alone. It is about shelters, food stockpiles, medical reserves, and working sirens that can reach entire cities. Officials even joke about a national ravioli reserve. Funny words, but serious intent, ensuring every person has access to calories in crisis. Germany sits in Europe's heart within range of Russian missiles and cyber threats. Its leaders see defense as more than soldiers. They see it as a partnership between state and household. Every family is expected to contribute just as the government invests billions. This is a cultural shift. Survival is everyone's job. For Americans, such measures may look extreme. But when Europe prepares, history shows storms often reach America too. Germany's plan is not paranoia, it is foresight. And it raises a heavy question. Why does the U.S. expect oceans to be its only shield? France has taken another path: healthcare readiness. Its government ordered hospitals to prepare for conflicts that could last from 10 days to 6 months. This means more supplies, reorganized emergency rooms, and drills for mass casualties. Doctors and nurses are being trained to handle war victims on French soil. It sounds chilling, but it is realistic planning. France accepts that hospitals must be prepared for more than car accidents or flu seasons. For America, the comparison is unsettling. If thousands of wounded arrived at once in New York, Chicago, or Los Angeles, would hospitals know what to do? The COVID crisis already showed how fragile the system can be. Now imagine war injuries or cyber attacks shutting down medical networks. France is sending its citizens a message: we will not improvise during crisis. Can the U.S. say the same? Or will hospitals be left to figure it out in real time? The European Union has sent a direct message to every household: be ready for 72 hours without help. Survival kits are now a mainstream idea. These kits include bottled water, canned food, first aid, a flashlight, batteries, and even cash in case digital payments stop. Finland has gone further, with 50,000 bunkers ready to protect millions of people at short notice. Poland runs awareness campaigns, teaching families what to pack and how to drill. The goal is not luxury, it is resilience. If electricity, internet, or water systems collapse, citizens can survive 3 days without chaos. For Americans, this raises another question. Why is there no similar call from Washington? Why no standard survival kit guidance? In Europe, preparedness is official policy. In the U.S., it is treated as a hobby or personal choice. But disasters do not wait for permission. They arrive suddenly, and only the prepared endure calmly. In the United States, civil defense is fragmented. FEMA exists, but it mostly responds to hurricanes, floods, and wildfires, not war or cyber warfare. Some states prepare better than others. Some households stock food and water. But there is no national system of bunkers, no mandatory survival kits, no unified guidance for emergencies. Instead, responsibility falls on individuals and local governments. Many argue this is part of America's independence. But independence without readiness can mean vulnerability. When supply chains break, when power grids go dark, when panic spreads, individual families cannot survive without broader support. America has oceans as barriers, but history shows oceans do not stop planes, missiles, or viruses. Europe views preparedness as responsibility. America often sees it as paranoia. But in the age of cyber attacks and global wars, that mindset may carry a cost. Silence from Washington could one day translate into chaos for its people. During the Cold War, the U.S. maintained thousands of fallout shelters. Many were marked with the famous yellow and black signs. They weren't fancy, but they sent a clear message: civilian survival matters. Today, most are abandoned or demolished. Few Americans even know where their nearest shelter is. Europe, meanwhile, is renovating and expanding its own networks. The difference is striking. America had a culture of preparedness once, but it has faded into neglect. Bringing shelters back would not mean reviving fear from the 1960s. It would mean updating safety for today's risks: missiles, cyber attacks, or energy blackmail. Right now, if an emergency struck, most U.S. citizens would have nowhere official to go. The empty signs from the Cold War stand as silent reminders of a time when Washington believed preparedness was worth funding. The question is, will America rebuild that shield or wait until disaster forces the issue? Hospitals are more than buildings, they are lifelines. In France, hospitals practice drills for mass casualty events, even simulating missile strikes. In Germany, emergency medicine protocols are rewritten to include wartime injuries. But in the U.S., hospitals are mostly left on their own. Federal funding focuses on natural disasters, not military-style crises. If thousands of wounded arrived at once, or if a cyber attack shut down hospital systems, chaos would follow. Doctors and nurses would improvise, doing their best with limited supplies. The U.S. healthcare system is already stretched by daily demand. Without a clear national plan for emergencies, hospitals could become weak points instead of safe havens. This is not about fear, it is about foresight. Just as Europe invests in training staff and stockpiling supplies, America could do the same. The difference between life and death often comes down to preparation, and right now that preparation is uneven at best. In Europe, emergency alerts are unified. A siren in Berlin or Paris carries the same meaning: danger, take action. In America, alerts are fragmented, state by state, sometimes county by county. Some regions use mobile push notifications, others rely on television or radio. But there is no single national alarm that unites the population in crisis. Imagine a coordinated cyber attack shutting down half the country's power grid. Some Americans would receive warnings quickly, others not at all. That delay could cost lives. Europe's integrated system offers a lesson. Clarity saves time, and time saves lives. America has the technology to do this. What it lacks is the political will. In emergencies, confusion breeds panic. A single trusted alert system tested regularly could calm fears and guide people. But until Washington acts, Americans will continue living under a patchwork of alarms, hoping the system works when it matters most. Many Americans believe oceans protect them. This is a dangerous illusion. Pearl Harbor shattered that belief in 1941. September 11th did it again in 2001. Today, cyber attacks can cross oceans in seconds. Missiles travel faster than ever. Energy supply lines can be cut by conflict thousands of miles away. Distance no longer equals safety. Europe understands this, which is why its leaders speak plainly to their people. Be ready. America, by contrast, often acts as though nothing serious can reach its soil. This attitude leaves millions unprepared. A shock may not arrive tomorrow, but history shows it always comes eventually. Pretending oceans are walls is comforting, but false. Preparedness is not about panic, it is about accepting reality. The question for America is simple. Will it wake up before the next shock, or only after? Because when distance fails, only readiness remains. Not all threats arrive with explosions. Some creep in silently, tightening pressure until daily life cracks. Gasoline prices spiking to $8 a gallon. Supermarket shelves emptying in days. Hospitals stretched beyond limits. Paychecks delayed because of frozen bank systems. None of these require a single bomb, only supply disruptions, cyber attacks, or coordinated stress. Europe calls this resilience planning. America calls it unlikely. But recent history, the pandemic, oil disruptions, shipping shortages, proves otherwise. The silent squeeze is already possible, and it would hit hardest where families are least prepared. Without guidance, panic replaces planning. Families rush to buy supplies too late, making shortages worse. By contrast, Europe's 72-hour survival kits and public campaigns turn fear into action. They teach citizens that resilience is a duty, not an option. For America, ignoring the silent squeeze means waiting for the cracks to widen into chaos. Preparedness is not just about bunkers. It is also about protecting the economy. Europe knows that war or crisis can collapse supply chains overnight. That is why governments there stockpile food and medicine, ensuring survival even if imports stop. In America, supply chains are fragile. During the pandemic, baby formula vanished. Essential medicines ran short. Supermarkets emptied after storms or transport delays. If war disrupted shipping lanes or fuel supplies, the shortages could be far worse. A nation that relies so heavily on just-in-time delivery is a nation exposed to shocks. Europe's lesson is simple. Reserves buy time. Time to respond. Time to recover. Time to survive. America has reserves of oil but not food, medicine, or other essentials. Without them, a crisis could turn into panic in just days. Economics is not separate from survival. It is the backbone that keeps nations calm when storms hit. In modern warfare, cyber attacks can be as deadly as bombs. They can shut down hospitals, freeze banks, or black out entire cities. Europe is investing heavily in cyber resilience with drills, backup systems, and cross-border coordination. In America, efforts exist, but often scattered. Different agencies protect different sectors, but coordination is weak. The result is vulnerability. A single cyber strike could ripple through systems, freezing payments, stopping deliveries, and leaving citizens confused and helpless. Most Americans assume their phones, ATMs, or hospital records will always work. But what if they don't? Cyber shadows are invisible until they strike, and then it is too late. Europe has recognized this and is preparing its people to expect disruptions. America, meanwhile, keeps the public in the dark. But in the age of digital weapons, ignorance is not safety, it is risk. Preparedness is not just national, it is also local. Finland trains its citizens, even students, on basic survival skills. Poland runs public drills. Switzerland has long maintained community bunkers. These actions build a culture of resilience where neighbors support neighbors. In America, preparedness often falls on individuals. Some preppers stockpile food and gear, but many families have nothing ready. Without a shared culture, communities can fracture during crisis instead of standing together. Europe sees resilience as collective responsibility. America often leaves it to personal choice. But when disasters strike, survival depends on cooperation. Communities that plan together recover faster. Communities that panic alone suffer longer. Preparedness is not only about governments, it is about teaching families and towns that survival is a shared duty. Europe invests in that culture. America, for now, mostly ignores it. Some argue that preparedness is expensive, but neglect is more costly. The billions Germany spends on bunkers may seem high, but compare it to the trillions America spent after 9/11. Prevention is cheaper than recovery. Europe invests now to avoid paying later. America often does the opposite, waiting for disaster before acting. This cycle repeats: neglect, crisis, panic spending, regret. Preparedness is not waste, it is insurance. No one questions paying for fire departments even when houses rarely burn. Why question bunkers kits or hospital drills? The cost of neglect is measured not only in money, but in lives lost when systems fail. Europe understands this. America has yet to learn or relearn it. One reason America resists national preparedness is culture. Independence is prized. People prefer local solutions over federal mandates. But independence without preparation becomes fragility. True resilience blends personal responsibility with national support. Europe does not remove individual duty. Families still keep kits, drill, and stock food. But governments support them with shelters, alerts, and policies. America fears central planning may weaken freedom. In truth, it strengthens survival. Freedom means little if chaos takes over. A balance is possible. Encourage independence, but provide national tools. Europe has struck that balance. America, stuck between pride and denial, has not. History is a mirror. Before World War II, Europe hesitated to prepare, believing peace would last. The result was devastation. During the Cold War, both Europe and America invested heavily in civil defense, fearing nuclear war. Shelters, drills, and stockpiles were common, But when the Cold War ended, that culture faded. Today, Europe is reviving it, shaped by new threats. America, however, has forgotten. History teaches one thing clearly. Preparedness looks paranoid until it proves wise. Every war, every crisis shows the same pattern. Those who prepare survive better. Those who wait suffer longer. The past whispers warnings. The question is, who is listening? Preparedness in one country pressures others. When Germany builds bunkers, neighbors ask why they aren't doing the same. When France trains hospitals, it highlights America's silence. This is the domino effect of resilience. One nation's readiness reveals another's neglect. Already, citizens in the U.S. ask, why no survival kit guidance? Why no shelters? The contrast grows sharper as Europe acts boldly and America hesitates. Eventually, the dominoes may reach Washington. The only question is whether leaders respond before or after crisis hits. If Washington chose to act, solutions are clear. Start with nationwide survival kit guidance. Fund hospitals for emergency drills. Rebuild and modernize public shelters. Create a single national alert system. Invest in cyber resilience. These are not fantasies. They are proven steps already working in Europe. The U.S. has more resources than most nations. What it lacks is focus. Preparedness would not weaken America. It would strengthen its people. The tools exist. The knowledge exists. Only political will is missing. Imagine two futures. In one, America prepares. Families know what to pack. Shelters exist in every city. Hospitals run drills. Alerts are clear. When crisis comes, people remain calm, follow guidance, and survive. In the other future, America stays unprepared. Crisis hits. Shelves empty. Hospitals break. Panic spreads. People ask why no one warned them. Which future feels safer? The difference between them is not fate. It is choice. A choice Washington must make, and soon. Preparedness is not fear. It is responsibility. Europe frames it that way, and citizens respond. America still frames it as paranoia, leaving families exposed. But independence should not mean neglect. True strength comes from foresight. The fog of escalation can arrive anytime, through war, cyber attacks, or supply shocks. The question is not if, but when. America can follow Europe's lead, adopt national preparedness plans, and build resilience. Or it can gamble on distance, hoping nothing crosses the oceans again. For families, the answer is personal. Would you rather your government improvise during crisis or guide you beforehand? Preparedness is not a burden. It is peace of mind. The choice rests with Washington. The consequences rest with us all.